Honestly, why does Concord have to be a live service game? Why can't we get a complete in-disc video game? Is it so hard to just have a video game that's actually on the disc or cartridge 100%? I think that's more beneficial than to have a live service game that rely so much on people playing it, but then they go and do things like half-heartedly put diversity into the thing. Now, I want to make it perfectly clear, because I know the so-called woke crowd are just offended that people aren't instantly nutting hard to Sweet Baby Inc. and literally any game that claims to be inclusive and all that. But that's not really the thing I want to focus on. But I also want to point out that the same people who claim to be woke, claim to be inclusive, they're the ones who aren't buying video games. I mean, it's like the same situation with feminists not watching women's sports. But feminists act like they're the authority on women's sports. Last time I checked, feminists were not even watching the sports to begin with. They're not supporting the athletes in any way, but yet they get to act like they're experts in this field. Now, that's not the main point of this video. I want to actually focus on what actually matters. The fact that this is a live service game that relies heavily on players. In this sea of multi-platform or even single-platform live service games, with even games like Call of Duty, Helldivers 2, Halo Infinite, Fortnite, Roblox, Among Us. So many live service multiplayer games that are just like overwhelmingly overpopulating the gaming space. Don't get me started on Suicide Squad. That should not have been a live service game anyways. I think live service games honestly prove time and time again the consumer does not have enough time or money to be bled dry, and yet these companies keep doing it. And if they're expecting the consumer to be reaching into their pockets, you have to make games that are interesting. I do apologize. Some bits and pieces of my breakfast wants to come back up for some odd reason. But you have to put what majority of gamers want into a game, and you can't just put a character in to appease a crowd of people who won't ever buy a console, let alone a video game. I mean, the so-called woke crowd have already proven they don't support inclusive games. So, hell, they don't even buy video games. I mean, this isn't 2006 when the Wii was like everywhere. The time to make diversity games really was during the Nintendo Wii era, when literally a young man, a grandparent, or a grown adult woman, etc., have that console. But if people who identify themselves as woke aren't even buying games, then really what's the point? If they're not buying the games anyways, why pander to a market that doesn't exist? I mean, I'm all for representation. I'm all for a person not having to look the same gender as me, the same race as me. I have no problem playing a game like GTA San Andreas and understanding the story of CJ, a Big Smoke, Sweet, or Ryder, or even Officer Tenpenny, because those characters are interesting. You have a reason to care. With Concord, I feel like the only reason why you're supposed to care is for diversity, inclusion, even though there's been actual inclusive games in the past. Again, GTA San Andreas, you have multiple nationalities, and you even have what is the modern day LGBTQ plus etc. community, because there's always new letters added. I can't keep up with them because they come out so fast. But it's weird. I could point to the past, multiple examples of inclusion. Yeah, the games aren't perfect, but I mean, like, actual inclusion exists in these games, but not in games like Concord or Suicide Squad or anything Sweet Baby Inc. put their name to. I mean, just having a pride flag doesn't translate into you being inclusive. Showing a woman character taking charge, kicking ass in a video game, that is actually inclusive. And that's been like a thing, especially with the first Tomb Raider game. Because you're not working for a man. In the first Tomb Raider game, you're actually working for a woman. And when you play as Lara Croft, you're not playing as someone's wife. You're not playing as someone's maid or anything. you're actually playing as a woman who has. I mean, Lara Croft is an actual positive role model for women, and she is not like dressing in like a certain way for male gaze. She's actually dressing like a professional. And yes, we do have to address the Crofts in the room. Yeah, they were intentionally made bigger. I don't buy the whole accidentally size enlargement thing. If you know what or if you know the franchise, you know what I'm talking about, especially in the early days. It's a bit ridiculous, honestly. But I mean, just look at Metroid, a game from 1987. 87 or 86. I do apologize if I get the year wrong. I just vaguely remember all the mainline Nintendo releases somewhat. I know Mario Brothers was 85, but when there's a lot of games, you can't remember everything to the exact detail always. So if I'm a year or two off, please let me know in the comments. Now, I have not played all the way through Metroid it on NES, but as you find out, if you beat the game in a certain time, you're playing as a woman character the whole time, which was revolutionary in the late 80s. Now, I don't know if there was an earlier example of a woman main character in a video game, but the thing is, you weren't really focused on the race, the gender, or even the sexual orientation of the character, because that doesn't matter. And when you try to make it matter, it just doesn't work. I mean, look at Perfect Dark, for example. When you ignore the fact that Joanna Dark is a woman, you think awesome video game character or storyline. But when you try to force people to only think you woman, you non-binary, etc., it just takes away from the personality of the character. It doesn't add anything. Honestly, I'm not doing this video to piss off the woke crowd. Honestly, I never want to talk about Concord ever again. Especially since I never played it. So I don't want to go back and forth, even trying to criticize the gameplay of a game I never played. I'm not quantum TV here. I'm not going to tell you, oh, it's so boring, or oh, it's so repetitive. All you do is just die, and then you die, and then you die without playing it. Now, I don't know if it's on Steam. I guess if I really wanted to, I could try Concord out. But I don't have a PS5, so I don't know. I don't think I'll ever play it. That's just my personal opinion. I have nothing against the characters. I just have a problem trying to commit to one live service game, another live service game. I cannot be wasting my time and my money on these stupid live service games. Okay? Not only as a gamer, but as a man who wants to be a father and a husband one day, I can't be paying a game company microtransactions fees or pay even $10 for a live service game. I can't do that shit anymore. It's so frustrating that I can't just buy a game, turn off my mind, and not have to think about every fucking thing in the sun, under the sun. I just don't like to overthink, and that's where my life is right now, in this day and age where I can't just put my trust into someone else. I have to think and then think and think and think. That's one of many reasons why there's gaps in my uploads. Because I'm always thinking inside of YouTube and outside of YouTube at the same time. And this whole job hunting thing is not going anywhere. And I'm grateful people watch my videos a lot more than I actually expect, but I'm still not at a point where I can monetize this whole YouTube channel. So it's essentially like if I'm doing this for fun. And that's one downside to the whole YouTube thing, is it pretty much is just for fun, or just not a serious thing, especially if I'm not getting paid. Honestly, I hate live service games so much right now. I know this was a whole rant, but I literally do not ever want to talk about Concord ever again, because frankly, even though this is a gaming channel, Concord is so irrelevant to my life. Because even though I play Fortnite, maybe I'll play Fall Guys once or twice, or Among Us once, I don't have all the damn time in the world to waste on live service games. especially when people I went to high school with are now mothers, fathers, or even step-parents. I did this YouTube thing with the ultimate end goal of hopefully becoming a father and a husband. But I'm not getting anywhere close to that. I mean, I understand really that's at the end of the day, since I'm the only one running this channel, it's my fault. And even though YouTube makes it easier to get monetized, I'm not there yet. I'm nowhere near the watch time hours needed or the subscriber needed. And I don't want to make all my videos, hit like, share, subscribe, all that, because then I don't come off genuine, and I come off like a heartless mainstream channel. I'm not mainstream. I'm just one person making gaming content or writing songs or literally trying to get somewhere so I could provide and protect like I'm supposed to. It's just, this life really sucks. I know there's like a lot I'm already forgetting I'm supposed to do, but I try, and that's really all I could do, even if it ends up in failure. Because the moment I give up, the moment I stop allowing myself to live. So I have to keep trying, even if it's in vain. Anyways, I'm sorry this turned into a rant video, but I think this highlights just the problems in this modern world, especially within the gaming industry, especially when people or try to defend Concord, but they're not the ones who are buying games. They're not supporting people. Anyways, I appreciate it if you guys do like this video. Excuse me. Or even dislike this video. Tell me why, if you actually played Concord, why you think it's a good game, why you think it's a bad game. Is it possible in this modern day and age to have diversity done correctly? Let me know what you guys think. Honestly, I'm doubtful with especially how Sweet Baby Inc. think just making people uncomfortable is a conversation starter. It's not. Actually making people interesting makes people want to talk and have a discussion. This is probably one of the longest videos I made in a long time. I feel like I said a lot, but I don't know. I don't know. At this point, I just want more games that's actually on the disc, on the cartridges, and if the company goes under, I know I don't have to pirate, I don't have to emulate, I don't have to worry about that. Okay, I understand if licensing prevents it from being sold digitally, but this is why you got to have the game complete on a physical disc or cartridge. I don't care if we're forced to play the non-updated version of the game after the servers go down. Just so you may have a base level that people could actually play when they want. That's a lot better. I'm just thinking about this video and I don't know what I'm going to call it, honestly. So I appreciate everyone for hearing me out. Now I just gotta figure out the rest of my day.